Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Maximum Driftcast. I am your host, Paco. This week, I'm here sitting by myself. It's obviously my co-hosts, Drift Turd and Corey Hot Dogs. They're not here just purely, just didn't show up, not interested. They're just like, I'm over it. And since I guess I'm the only one that's being here all the time, every single episode, I just decided to, you know what? I'll do it live. I learned that from good old Bill O'Reilly. For those who don't get the reference. Fortunately for me, there's not really that much to talk about. Like the only drift thing I've heard about is some driftwood I saw the other day at Home Depot. I saw a couple drifters living in the street, sadly. Other than that, it's pretty much, it's dead. It's dead like disco. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll just sing a little bit. Maybe I'll just rumble. I'll just talk in the microphone. I know you guys love this sweet velvety voice that is going to be with you for the next couple hours. So tune in, because we're about to embark in a beautiful trip of the senses. This is Maximum Driftcast. And welcome back again. I'm here still by myself. One of the things I want to talk about is this table right here. We have it's very sturdy. You always set it up by myself because my two co-hosts are always pretty useless. And, well, that's kind of a surprise. Hey, what are you guys doing here? Excuse me. I don't know if you noticed, I'm doing a podcast.
Oh, hey. Can I join you?
I guess. I mean, sure.
Go ahead, Sam. Please take a seat, Sam.
I will.
For those who are not watching, suddenly a trio of very good-looking adults just showed up into my podcast that I'm doing for you guys.
We saw the podcast signal in the sky. It was a picture of a bass flute. Saw a bass flute floating above the clouds. And
honestly, from what we heard, it's going to be a solid podcast if you just kept running with it.
did you?
As solid as this table that I was talking about?
As I walked into the house,
beautiful IKEA table.
As I walked into the house, I heard you say the only drifting you've heard about is driftwood, which from Home Depot.
Yeah.
Your local Home Depot sells driftwood now?
I guess. I mean, dude, Home Depot, as you know, is one of my favorite stores.
Is that where you wait in line to see for people to pick you up in their pickup truck and give you some work for the day? That was a Mexican joke. Hey, getting started up the right way.
All right. Well, so you guys have a guest with you?
Oh yeah. So this is Jeff, and Jeff is actually pretty much the man behind the Form of the Drift live stream.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Jeff, a lot of questions for you, of course, but the first one that I think me and a lot of the fans are interested in hearing is, who the hell do you think you are?
I am the tormentor of drift fans all over the world.
Nice.
That's what I take pride in.
And then follow-up question, Jeff. What gives you the right?
That's true.
Do you really? I mean, you just declare yourself tormentor. I mean,
Yeah.
what gives you the right to have a podcast? I think you just do it because no one else is doing it.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bravo.
Just got hit with that one.
Yeah, so we got Jeff live in the Form of the Drift studio. That is my office. And Corey's here.
Hey, guys.
Paco's here. Paco's definitely here, as you heard for the first few minutes of the show.
I think they're tired of me by now, so please go
no
ahead
one-
and take over.
No one's tired of Paco. And
I think Jeff's tryouts to be replacements for us anytime one of us is gone.
Yep.
We can bring Jeff in full-time to be a stunt double for one of us.
I don't know if I can fill in for Paco. Like, I don't know if you can make any Mexican jokes about me.
Was that Paco who said
Actually,
that?
it'll be easy to make Mexican jokes about you because you just will be like, well, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah. Pasty white guy jokes, though. I plenty of those.
We have
for-
those too.
Yeah.
so. Jeff makes the live stream go or not go. What?
Kinda.
So of course, when we have someone that makes the Form of the Drift live stream of the show, the first thing that people are going to think of is, one, they don't really notice when it's working. but they definitely know when it's not working. And why does the live stream sometimes not work?
I wish I had like a completely satisfying answer. I wish I could go out there and just like tell everybody it's going to be better. I mean, it's a highly technical. There's so many reasons why we have issues. And I think the good news is I think it's really getting better as we look at the times that it's going down. As we count that number is going down year over year. But I mean, it's still it's equipment that overheats or equipment that has a bug and fails. On site. And then there's still the problem of people have issues with their ISP, down the line that I don't have any influence over, that I think we sometimes get blamed for.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think overall it's improving. And it's just a matter of sometimes the gremlins come out and they get you.
How good is the internet in where's the name of the city that we go to for Formula Drift Atlanta? I was gonna say, I'm curious how often shitty local internet plays into it.
That's a good question. So across the board, like the internet's been getting better and better at the different tracks. Like when we started, the internet was horrible in Atlanta. Now they have 100 megabits up, 100 megabits down. The only place that doesn't have good internet is Irwindale. We're dealing with. They have a connection that's straight out of like what I had at my house back in like 1999.
Nice.
Literally, it's 1 megabit up, 1 megabit down. So an HD stream is. Sorry to get too technical.
No.
Sorry.
That's why we're here.
I'll have Paco translate to the audience.
Yeah. In Spanish,
24 megabytes de información.
No, but an HD stream, just like to put it out, we need like the stream itself is 2.2 megabits per second. So I mean, right there, we only have half. I mean, like 1 megabit, and then you really want like to double that number,
right?
So to account for some overhead. So I mean, like we'd want a minimum of 5 megabits per second, and at Irwindale we have 1.
Yeah.
So in order to get around that, what we do is we take a bunch of 4G cards and we plug them into a little box that then kind of breaks the signal up across a couple different connections. Because I don't know if you ever had this experience with your phone, but sometimes like the internet 4G just dies on you
all the time.
So we do to get around that issue. We put together about 6 different signals. All that has to go out to a server, and then that server puts all the signals back together and sends it out to the place where we actually kind of to make multiple different bandwidths.
Nice. Would you call that a neural net processor?
I would say, like, how many likes and how many prayers does it take for the internet to work fine?
It's a couple chicken sacrifices. Yeah. And this year our chicken sacrifice didn't work. Like the box, we were in a room at Irwindale, like the sun just beats down on the room, and it gets to about 110, 115.
Wow. And
the box overheated. And last year, like the server farm where we had the box sitting lost their internet connection in the middle of the event.
Right.
So 99% uptime means 99%, and it's okay until that one uptime's in the middle.
Yeah. So
South
really,
End
all that sounds like a bunch of bullshit. Why for? Why for no drifting?
When the little bits can't get out of the room.
Sure.
Yeah.
One of the things I've noticed, and
here we go.
yeah,
Paco's taking over again.
Listen.
Getting hard.
I'm not mad, but
that lady,
a friend told me to ask this.
Yeah.
Please call the manager lady. I'm gonna be that lady right now. No, actually, on the contrary. One of the things I notice is that sometimes I'm watching the live stream and I'm reading the comments. Like when we post, like, oh, we're gonna be watching the live stream. Lots of people saying like, oh shit, I can't see anything, but I'm watching it. So I know probably at least half the time there's a problem with a person.
Yep.
Which is weird. What is weird is that like that person is not having internet problems. Like every other website seems to be working fine, but for some particular reason, only the streaming part is what's wrong. Where I'm at in my computer watching it and it looks perfect. So is it like do the live streaming kind of like goes on like on a different I don't know the term, like different frequency or like a different way of distributing the
different
information.
neural net.
So when you download something off a server, like you download just a picture off the server, you're consuming bandwidth on that server. So when we literally have tens of thousands of people watching the drift stream at the same time. So when you get all those people downloading HD video at the same time, you have to split up the traffic amongst different servers, because no one server was going to be able to handle
Got
it.
it.
And the strategy is you want servers located all around the world. So you're in Phoenix. So it happens to be like a server farm right here in Phoenix. So you're only connecting to the Phoenix server farm. And someone, say, in New York City is connecting to a completely different server all the way across the country.
Okay.
If there's like traffic overload in their region, or just between them and whatever server they're accessing, they're going to be experiencing issues. Whereas you're not going to be having that problem in Phoenix. Passing notes?
Yeah, we just get Pac on update.
I think it's for you.
We just get Pac on update.
So sorry for that. Yeah,
That's fine. No, I mean, I got a little bit. I kind of lost my train of thought.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks for the note.
I just asked for Corey for a pen so I could write notes for the episode, but then I just had to test it out. And
it's working fine.
It does work.
I got the message. So let's say half the time it's the people. Well, it's not even like their internet service.
The viewer.
It's just,
it could be the viewer.
yeah, but it's not their service that
it may not even it may not even be your house, and it may be
Yeah.
like you're just fine. So it's called a CDN, a content delivery network, that is spreading these out, and they have what they're called edge servers.
Uh-huh.
And so if for some reason the route between you and the edge server is congested, then you're going to be experiencing issues. And if you have let's say there's a YouTube server a lot closer to you, you're going to be able to access that YouTube server just fine.
Okay.
So it's like think of it like a highway system.
Yep.
Like so if there's a traffic jam between here and Denver, like that, you're going to be having issues. But
if you're feeding from that line.
yeah, if you're feeding from that line.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
So
how long have you been doing this live stream?
my first live stream was 2007. Do you want me to go through my whole history, or do you just want?
Let's hear a little bit.
Let's get a little background.
Tell me. So
background.
let's go back up like 30 years before that.
Okay,
You were
30 years.
born.
30. No, yeah. So you're a baby, right?
You're
Yeah.
born in a server farm.
I was born in server farm.
Right.
Yeah, I was born with a video camera in one hand and a.
What kind of baby were you? Like, what,
He already said that the kind with a baby with a camera.
What kind of baby stuff did you do?
You play football with the baby boys down the street?
All right. So fast forward 25 years after that.
Okay. No, so I went to film school at Northwestern University in Chicago, and I thought at the time what I wanted to do is I wanted to work in Hollywood, and I went out, worked in Hollywood, and what I thought I wanted to do is I wanted to work in creative development, which is the kind of people that find scripts and work with them, develop them, and turn them into movies.
That's cool. I respect that.
And I loved the work, but I hated Hollywood. Like I didn't like the people that I was working with, and so I said, screw this, and I'm going to Colorado. And I'm going to be a ski bum.
Nice. Yep.
And while I was there, I was like, I've got this degree. I should use this. I should do something with it. So I convinced a regional cable network to, I was going to make them a TV show for free, and they were going to put it on the air. And
TV show about what?
It was about professional snowboarding, actually.
That's cool.
And so we'd follow around professional snowboarders and kind of shoot like a documentary of this is what it's like to be a professional snowboarder in Colorado.
Kind of like trying to build your
Shreds of gnar.
resume.
Yeah, exactly. Just like at that point, I'd never received pay for any video work. So that was kind of the first real professional work I'd ever done.
Small parenthesis, that goes to a lot of like the people who are like photographers and videographers making. I mean, Sam went through a lot of those.
Yeah, everyone went through a bunch of free jobs.
How much you pay Sam for your video, your Hoonigan video, Corey?
15.
No,
we made lunch.
We made lunch. I think he got me a meatball sub. maybe.
350.
Yeah, we made lunch. But that's
Sorry,
about
excuse
it. But yeah, that's how I think a lot of these guys kind of get started, is how you're going to get your name out there. And especially if you're a new guy saying, hey, I need $10,000 to make a commercial. And it's like, I haven't seen anything that you've done.
Yeah.
What's the chance of being picked up for that? It's like saying you're a race car driver asking for a seat and you never have done a lap on the track or approved. So I could see that relate in many ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was working at a hotel. Literally, I'd work at a hotel. I'd start work at 11 p.m. I'd work until 7 a.m. and then I'd go to sleep, and then I'd shoot, edit, whatever on the show. And that's how I was able to make the show in the beginning. And eventually, there was a 24-hour cable network called Fuel TV.
Yep.
And we started working with
Matt Field. You said Field TV?
Fuel.
Oh,
God
sorry.
damn it. Paco.
Matt Field. Sorry, Matt Field.
No, but they hired me as a producer, and while I was producing that, I really got interested in. Basically, one of my clients came to me and said, like, "Hey, you've been doing all these, videos, these web videos for us. Can you do a live webcast?" I'm like, "Sure, that's going to be easy."
Right.
And it was the biggest disaster. Believe it or not, it was beyond anything we've ever done on the Driftstream disaster. And I was kind of like in it for a lot of money, and I was like, I'm going to figure this out. That's going to be, it's going to, and Fuel TV became Fox Sports 2. And at that time, we were getting some traction with live webcasts. And
you guys got like all the Fox's support to start doing things like.
No, I wasn't doing webcasts for Fox. I was doing webcasts for a lot of different like mountains, like freestyle mountain biking and skateboarding and snowboarding and freestyle skiing, those kinds of events. Yeah. And eventually,
snow skating.
I don't think we ever did snow skating.
What are the little tiny skis called?
Stupid. That's what they're called.
Oh, burn!
They're the Razor scooters of the
snow mountain.
Yeah.
And we just got really good at doing things really like coming up with creative, innovative new ways of doing things a lot less expensively than other ways. So Formula Drift wanted, I don't know if you remember. Do you remember the dials?
Yes.
For the
drift, the judge dials. The judge's dials. Yeah.
What? I don't know about this.
It was a line that like as the cars were advancing through the track, and you had like two lines, and one went up and one went down, and like the penny was like, this is good, this is bad, this is good.
Interesting.
It was a way of trying to show in real time what was happening on the track.
Oh, okay. I actually do remember that now, and they would show like who they're thinking of, who they want to like, who they're favoring in real time.
Yeah. So we came up with an inexpensive way, like the company that did that for real wanted to charge like $100,000 for the entire season.
Damn.
And we came up with a way to do it much, much more inexpensively. And they said, hey, since you came up with this system and you came up with this graphic system, why don't you guys, you do live events, why don't you bid on, the whole series? And so that's how we got involved with Formula Drift.
So
nice.
since the first one,
2012, you said?
Yeah. So I first started working with Formula Drift in 2012, and then our first full season was 2013.
And did you have a prior live stream experience before that?
Yeah, I've been doing live webcasts in action sports like snowboarding, skateboarding, all the way back since.
Thanks for paying attention to the last 10 minutes, Corey.
Yep. Just a quick follow up.
Yeah.
There, Paco.
These are, by the way, since people at home can't see how, insightful questions. Well, let me tell you, I mean, there's some groundbreaking journalism happening.
Well, usually, everything starts with an idea, as they say, and then we.
I don't know. I don't know if there's an idea or an obsession happening on.
And now you have behind the scenes knowledge that I don't know if you ever watched the video versions of these, and you see that we're usually writing notes a lot of the time. Now you know the content of these notes, and
mostly has nothing to do with it. What we're talking about.
Have you ever seen those those live TV shows where the journalists are just sitting there writing, and you don't actually see what they're writing, but then they read the notes afterwards? It's kind of what we do.
It's usually pictures of Goofy from the Goofy movie, right? Yeah. That's what everyone's making. Like the White House press conference, like everyone's just kind of drawing pictures.
Yeah, I would imagine some sort of Disney character.
Yeah.
Well,
back to Paco with the groundbreaking
real question.
Hit him hard, Paco. Come on.
Okay, so you got back. You start working in Formula Drift.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, you know what? I'm going to make this thing that's going to break.
No, let's talk about the very first live stream ever. Do you remember how many viewers, how much?
My very first live stream?
Yeah.
Like the one way back in 2007?
No, yeah, with Formula Drift.
Oh, with Formula Drift.
Yeah, first FD. Pay attention, Paco.
I said FD.
You know what? It was the first time we unveiled that drift dial system. And so I just remember it being I just remember not sleeping for 4 days before that.
Oh God!
Just because it worked great in back in the office, and then you pulled out and tried to use it in reality, and it just didn't work the way we expected. So that whole weekend's a blur.
It didn't work as in technologically, or
it just would it would stop working and be like, oh, it's working, and then now okay, we're good, ready to go.
It's always a time where you're actually using it when things stop working, right? During the testing, everything's fine. You try everything and it's good, and once you go for the whole shebang, that's when everything starts falling apart.
The truth about things.
Yep.
And I mean, I think that's the biggest lesson we've had for the Driftstream is looking back. I mean, to discuss the big picture of why we're watching live streams of any event is, it's still what you see on the NFL and Major League Baseball, and it's still a multi-million-dollar TV truck that rolls in.
Right.
And then in the last 10 years, they've been developing. I mean, we instead of having hardware-based video mixers, now we can have software-based video mixers because computers have gotten fast enough that software can handle that. And so the equipment that we're using is completely different family of equipment than what has been used for TV broadcasts for years.
Right.
And so now we've been able to bring the price down to produce a full-length, professional-looking broadcast to the point where it makes sense given kind of the size of Formula Drift's audience. And in that process of dealing with kind of all these new pieces of equipment that come out, some of the equipment's great, some of the equipment works, well in theory, and then you get it on site and it doesn't. And so it's been a process over the past 4 years of figuring out like, this is a good piece of equipment, this works great, and this is way too complicated, this crashes way too often.
Yeah.
Jeff, I'd like to share something with you real quick.
I was trying to remember what the stream dial looked like, so I did in my own artist impression.
So it looks like you just did a live.
I did a live my own stream dial of what.
So as Paco, myself, and Jeff were talking, you were judging us.
Yep.
All right. So here's the reviews. I want to pass this over to Jeff first, so you can take a quick look.
Oh, it looks like Chris. Looks like Chris Forsberg got the win.
Can you describe for us, Jeff, what you're seeing there?
Well, I'm seeing Sam. You think very highly of yourself.
Well,
you're right to the top.
Looks like I'm coming out on top of this.
Corey, it looks like you hit a penis midway.
There's like half balls.
I hit the bass flute.
Yeah, and Paco, it looks like I was kind of all over the place, and then Paco looks like you peaked, and now
it really.
And I'm on the way down.
What we really can take away from this though is that Corey.
I thought I was going to rock bottom, but I just hit a penis.
So why did the drift dial disappear? Was that because it was? I
think it was just too hard to understand. I think like if we wanted to work on it, we could have gotten it to the point where it would have made more sense. But I just think, like, to be honest, it was a really technical solution to a problem that didn't really require one.
Right.
I think putting Ryan Lontaine
that fixed
on
everything.
the show just solved the
to
same
get
problem.
that real time feedback. Yeah.
I mean, when he gets his notes.
When he remembers his notes.
Yeah.
Which.
Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan. I hope you have your notes right now. I bet Ryan sleeps with his notes every night ever since then.
Probably.
What do you think about drifting?
So I was actually, like I said, like ski, snowboard kind of guy. And I wasn't really a car guy, but I have really I've since following. Now I own a WRX.
Hell yeah!
Oh, you and Sam are bros.
What up, bud? What year?
Do
you guys can go vape together.
How many coils on your vape pen?
2013.
13.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
SGI or base model?
Nah, just a base model.
Dual.
Is it true most Subaru guys dock with each other when they connect for the first time?
It's true. What we usually do is we blow vape clouds into each other's mouths, and then we can kind of taste what the other Subaru owner is like, and then we taste each other's.
But then you guys are super bros after that.
Yeah.
Nice. That's not too bad of it.
Yeah, but don't encourage them. They're gonna start talking about their vape pen mods.
I was gonna say, then we both vape through each other's hood scoops.
Yeah.
And then we
pretty technical to be a Subaru owner.
Yeah.
You make videos. This is a green car.
Yeah. And we give each other thumbs up down the road.
It's true.
Do you do that with Dajimon people, Paco, or Aztec people? The Aztec people, when you go down the road, you guys give each other thumbs up?
Are there other Aztec people?
Yeah. Well, when you own one, you notice them all.
Oh, yeah.
But, with the Dutchman, like, actually, the most of the people I see driving them are kind of creepy.
And asking for candy or something?
Yeah. So I kind of try to avoid eye contact.
Because right now you don't really have a Dodgy Bond, you just have a Dodge van.
It's still a Dodge van.
Yeah.
With the Watanabe looking wheels, but it's still lifted.
Yeah.
And it still looks hideous. It's not gonna look cool until it's dropped and it has like better tires. But
how much candy are you giving out in that thing?
You need a music cue for like the Dodgy Band segment of every show.
Yeah.
Like a little, yeah.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like we got Paco beatboxing it.
Oh, God.
We don't even need a music thing. But also, let's talk about production side. That requires editing. And what I try not to do is edit the episodes. So
that was
if you can not say anything bad.
Or suggest any good ideas.
Yeah, if you could just not say something I'd have to cut out. Like, which part of the judging is the most pig?
Hold on, we got to go back to, do you like drifting?
Yeah.
I love drifting. I mean, like, I think one of the things, like having worked in other action sports, is the drifting community is so, compared to say like snowboarding, is so welcoming,
right,
and so eager to bring new people on and accept new people and bring them into the fold. Not everyone across the board. Obviously, we have an Instagram account out there that's not on board with that idea. But to be honest, I think I feel grateful that I've been kind of welcomed into the community, and I've become a huge fan. I have my favorite drivers, like anyone does.
Who?
Right.
Which ones you got?
Who do you root for?
To be honest, Odie Bakshis.
Odie!
Odie's a
Nice.
little beast. I can
You
see that.
guys could be brothers.
You're not the first person to say
I would
that.
say you and Odie do have a
Say, like,
resemblance.
you guys could
Yeah.
be related.
Yeah.
Are you related?
But no, no. I don't. Yeah.
Some bias.
No
some bias right
relations.
there.
No
Yeah.
relations.
But no, I mean, like, and the two guys that work with me full time, they are both huge car guys. And so there's a lot of, I don't know. There's a lot of. I mean, the great thing about going to work is we get to discuss Formula Drift all day long, and some of that stuff plays out in kind of the stats that you see in the show, and the different, like I don't know if people know this. Jared does 99% of what you see and hear.
Yeah.
Right.
But occasionally I get to feed Jared a storyline or a stat.
Because you're in Jared's ear and you get to whisper sweet nothings to him.
Yes,
while
exactly. And he actually gets to swear back at me off.
Oh.
It's great. It's
Yeah, I could see that.
So, yeah. But no, I become a huge fan of Formula Drift, and I get more and more involved every year.
So what does your weekend look like? You show up to Irwindale. You then.
Well, what day do you get to Irwindale?
Yeah.
We Irwindale. Irwindale's the hardest track for us to do. So we actually show up on Tuesday in Irwindale, and then it's 3 straight days of setting up, and then it takes about 5.5 hours from the moment we set up to before we're ready to go live, and then we do the show, and then on Saturday there's still all that equipment that has to be taken down.
And
real quick. Okay, like equipment. So how much equipment? Just a lot of cameras. I guess there's a lot of wiring, a lot of transmitting
Sure.
stations.
transmitting stations, sure.
Yep.
They're called, right?
Wait, that's the technical term.
Oh, that's it? There you go.
No, it's I know this because we have to ship it up to Canada and
Remote.
and it's
You
so
have to
it's
count
like
for everything,
count
itemize
for everything.
it. Yeah.
It's 1,400 pounds of gear.
Oh my god.
It's about 700 pieces. Like when you go ahead and count everything that gets put together.
Right.
So if one of those 700 pieces fails, that's something that's not happening in the show.
Yeah.
How
You
many people works with you for the setting everything up?
The core webcast crew is about 10 people, and that doesn't count camera guys, Ryan and Jared, and then Cesso, who is kind of like our stage manager.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's quite an operation. See, like here's the thing. Like
And that's-
most people think it's just like, oh, like I can just like live stream from my phone.
Yeah, why don't you just
It's, like,
Facebook
so
Live
easy.
the whole event, which you actually now do, Facebook Live.
It's
some
crazy. Have you seen like how? I mean, and you might have noticed that, but like a lot of people, especially like there's like a ex-driver or somebody who's kind of popular on the car scene, live streaming from his phone.
Mm-hmm.
They started getting tons of people watching that.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous because you're kind of like not really watching. I mean, it's just a tiny little car, but lots of people are watching that instead of the live stream. You know, I don't know if you noticed
Facebook
that.
now has their own live thing that our buddy Brandon is doing, right? Like he's standing down there, like trackside with his phone rig doing Facebook Live. Is that intimidating for you?
To have that competition.
Yeah, to have that competition of an FD employee with his phone and a battery pack.
And he sometimes puts the camera like right up in our room, so it's like we could, screw with it if we wanted to.
Oh yeah.
Facebook streaming has its. The thing is, when people watch the drift stream, they typically are watching for 30, 40 minutes at a time.
Right.
And when you look at the Facebook streams, just because there's so much content competing with it on Facebook, that the engagement time for that is a lot shorter. So I think, when we're planning, kind of where we're going to, we need to kind of, make content that's suitable for that medium. If that makes any sense.
It does. No, I'm just wondering, because I feel like this is a common question that people in our industry see. It's like, are we going to be replaced by unprofessionals and their phones?
I don't. The biggest change that we're seeing in our industry is we can now do everything remotely. So in Texas, the graphics guy was sitting in Denver while we were all in Texas, and so all the graphics were being composed and made in Denver and then sent to Texas, and they would show up on the screen, and then we could communicate with him 2 ways, kind of like over a Skype system. So I mean, we're getting to the day where very like you'll have a camera guy, you'll have an engineer on site, and the rest of the crew will all be someplace remotely, and that's how we'll do the entire production. Obviously, you risk having internet dropouts, but I think as we kind of figure out kind of workarounds for those issues, I think you're going to see more and more production being done remotely. I mean, that's how they do the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like the NBC has most of their crew sitting in New York, and kind of a skeleton crew that goes to Rio or wherever and does the Olympics.
So just to get this clear, I mean, the live stream part itself, like casting it, that's just probably like the tiniest part. Like that's just the end of the whole thing. Like you take care of the moment the cameras are capturing it, putting the graphics on screen, make sure that the camera, changing camera 1 to camera 2, I guess like giving orders to the cameraman, recording everything, and I guess like before it's being broadcasted, you're recording everything, right?
Yep. I mean, I think people are very familiar with like you go, you shoot, you come home, you edit, you put graphics on, you color correct it. We have to do a lot of stuff in real time.
Yep.
So we have to have machines kind of ready and someone there sitting up. So if a graphic comes up, that's because someone pushed a button and it went up. There's no real automation at this point. So every camera cut is someone's pushing a button.
Or pushing the wrong button.
Or that doesn't happen.
No, I just like one of the things that I've noticed is that like for example last season Dan Burkett was about to run, and Dan Brockett came on instead. I mean, which is obviously very easy to make mistake.
Wait, those are different people.
Almost, pretty much.
And you know what? And like I saw that coming. Like when I was putting.
Do you remember that moment?
No, I do.
Oh my God, it was that traumatizing.
Like right there.
Oh yeah, I saw it too.
It's in history. It's
and having a Kyle Mohan.
And a Kenny Moen.
And a Kenny Moen. Like that. Every time we get a new graphics operator in there, it's like there's two people. One's,
I just say RX-8.
I want to go back to that moment of when you had Dan Brockett pop up. It seemed pretty traumatizing. You said you saw it coming though?
Well, I knew as we were creating the graphics for those guys ahead of time. I saw that like we still had. They were both in the system sitting there next to each other. Yep. And I was like, oh, I know. And I was like, I have to be on top of this when I know that this battle's coming up. I have to like warn the graphics operator, okay, make sure you get, And then I saw it pop up and I just like, fuck.
Awesome. Slam your head on the keyboard.
It went, oh.
At a certain degree, I know that Dan Brockett thanks you a lot. He's like, I just felt like I was back.
Officer Dan's good. Yeah,
that was Dan's first qualifying and first win right there. Thanks to that. So.
No, I to be honest, we all, the whole crew really wants to go in and put out the best show.
Of course.
One of the things that we pride ourselves on is I think you watch a lot of webcasts and even TV shows where. Like one run is indistinguishable from another. Mm-hmm. Like it's just two cars, they just go down, one person wins, move on to the next one. And we really try to focus on like what's the story? Why is this run? Why is this particular battle unique? You can't do it with all every single battle through 31 battles throughout the through the weekend. But you can definitely highlight those particular battles that are really going to matter for the season or matter for a different reason and try to bring out the story behind them so that it matters to the people watching the event. Because the idea that like there are amazing things, there's greatness that happens every weekend at Formula Drift. And we want to make sure people don't miss those moments, that those moments are meaningful.
And you guys are a part of that to a certain degree, but then it's up to the commentators to also relay that message. You guys can present it in certain ways, but then it's also, once again, explaining why.
Yep.
And
but I mean, it's when I'm talking about like we'll create graphics that highlight. Like my favorite stat from last year is that Chris Forsberg and Frederick Osbo both have 8 wins in their career, and all 8 wins in Frederick Osbo's career have come since Chris Forsberg's last win in April of 2014. That to me is just mind blowing.
Yeah.
And so when we do the research and we find things like that, we feed them to Ryan and Jared and try to get them to bring those out. Or when we notice that like, hey, Odie has never beaten, Chris Forsberg, or I'm sorry, Frederick Osbo. Yeah. He's 0-7, and that he just felt like a good day to us. So it's like, let's really play up the story, Odie versus Osbo and kind of the history of that. And just we got lucky. And
that was in Seattle, right?
Yeah, it was in Seattle,
Well, that's the other thing. Like a lot of people that every now and then like criticizes Jared they don't understand like the amount of information that Jared's being fed.
Oh, I
during,
don't.
you know, like,
Jared, most of
he
like
needs to-
99% of Jared is Jared. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but still, but he still has to remember all these facts and all this information and these stats
and the way he can just rattle off every sponsor of every driver
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
So I feel like the list of the most hated people are the judges are 1,
Jared's
Jared's
second.
2, and then you're like a close third. Would you say?
I got to do better than Jared. I got to find a way to beat Jared.
Hey, you got to beat Jared.
I gotta.
Well-
I can't let that stand.
I mean, if you think about it, like people hate Livestream already, so you could say you could be on top of them all.
So
Maybe. I don't know. Let's
Well,
see what the
here-
people
I mean,
say.
would people hate the judges without me?
They wouldn't even know about them.
That-
No,
exactly,
they wouldn't. No,
exactly.
Yeah,
no,
that
they-
is true.
Great point.
I think
You're the
point.
influencer of hate.
Thanks to you, the judges get all that hate.
Yeah.
So actually, the judges should be hating you as well.
I think they do actually.
Okay, good.
I'm pretty
Awesome.
sure they.
Well, hold on. Okay, so the amount of time. Well, how many hours of footage do you think you have over a year of FD?
A year, just over
Well,
an
over a
event.
season, a
over
season.
one event.
Well, I'm thinking 'cause-
imagine that.
What I want to get to is, okay, for as much footage as broadcast live,
Mhm.
how much is actually downtime? Like if you have over 80 hours of footage, but we're down for 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Because
You know, is there a way you can?
I mean, the other thing we try to do, and it's always like it's a balancing act to try to figure out. But we usually try to stop the action when something happens, so that people at home aren't missing it. Obviously, we can't do that because there's a bunch of people in the stadium that want the event to continue. But we really try to do our best to try to make sure that people at home aren't missing anything. And we also try to play back if something happened that they missed. We try to play it
Right.
back and keep people up. But I mean, I can count we something within like all the stuff, all of our gear. There are 4 times this season that we had an issue because of like the video mixer crashed or the system that we're using to bond the video signal going out of Irwindale overheated. So that it's like you're right. I mean, I guess it would be altogether. I mean, people probably missed 3-4 runs this season because of downtime. It's 31.
how friggin' dare you?
Yeah, that's,
but
I want that number to be 0.
Yeah,
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. But and that's what I wanted to get back to is you're up. If they miss 4 runs out of a couple thousand, would you say it's close to 100?
31 battles, not counting one more times.
Right, so 31 times there was 8 rounds.
8 rounds this year.
And if people
Jeez.
missed more than that, is because of their local internet or is because of something down the line.
Yep. Yeah.
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 And
Pass,
also,
pass the buck elsewhere.
Yep.
and you guys also you provide all the footage for the NBC show.
So the
as
way,
well, right?
well, not quite. The way that works is the camera guys are hired by the NBC, the CBS, show.
Okay, got
and
it.
then we
My bad.
we
CBS.
plug into them, and then we are also communicating with them and kind of directing them for the live stream. So that's the trade off.
All right, so you kind of like feed from their video feed.
Yep.
But they're recording all their own stuff.
They record to their cameras.
Got it.
And
So
then the only camera that we have that works directly for live stream is the camera that's working with Lorette.
which one's that?
The
downstairs. Yeah, like the girl who's the girl
Yeah.
who's like asking people drivers questions.
Yep.
What about the one that's like on the judges booth, like looking at
that one.
Jared
That one's not
and
manned.
Ryan?
That-
Okay,
Yeah, that one's ours too.
got it.
So when someone crashes, and then it takes like 15 minutes to clean them up, and you're like, all right, we just showed all of our burner footage, and then someone crashes again. The next run, you have another like 15 minutes. What do you do? How does that feel?
That is like a I mean that's my nightmare because that's my job.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Is to figure out what we are going to. Obviously, the first thing we do is go to commercial and annoy the hell out of everybody.
Yeah, cue
That's
the hand-cooked tiles guy.
And then Frederick Asbo, Ichiban. What's that?
Yeah.
Arisan, Ichiban.
The Motegi video?
No,
No.
the Motegi, the one with
The Super Mario sound effects. I hope those are officially licensed sound effects, by the way. So I've heard that the Super Mario 1-up sound effect at least 1,000 times the past 2 years.
there was
I hope they're paid for.
There was one. We were streaming to YouTube, and we stripped out all the. We made sure we had no copywritten music going out because they'll nail you for that. And then someone gave us a commercial that they didn't clear, and it took down the webcast. It was not Formula Drift, but I mean, this is.
I was wondering about that actually. Like when you guys were I mean, Formula Drift was on YouTube for a little bit, wasn't it? The live.
Yeah, they used to do that. I think that was like 2013 when we used to do that. Yeah.
Weren't you part of one of the Voodoo commercials, Sam?
Yep.
Oh,
I licensed that music.
There you go.
I did.
So that one's fine.
I licensed all the music, man. I'm not a crook.
I did some rough calculations.
Oh, Corey punched the numbers.
I punched some numbers. So I did all the qualifying runs based off of 32 cars, and then I believe it was 248 total battles over the year, roughly.
Sounds about right.
And you've been up 98 to 99%, so you only have had about 1% downtime. If it was 4 to 8 runs.
That sounds about. I mean, that's what I would maybe go 97%, but that sounds about right.
Wow. Corey Hosford.
You just did the math.
With the science.
I mean, if you guessed me off the top of my head.
So so that's the thing. So that's the thing is you look at how many times people would complain about, oh my God, the stream's not. If you go to your internet service provider, they say that your internet's gonna be up 99% of the time.
Yeah,
there's your 1%. So I think that's most common. What a lot of these people say is, hey, even if you get a phone service, they say they don't offer 100% uptime because it's literally impossible. They always offer 99% or 99.9 or whatever it is. But
how do you get better though from here? How does it get better next year?
I think number one, we already started the process. I mean, the good news is that Formula Drift takes it really seriously. And one thing we did this year that we've never done in the past was it used to be if there was an issue with the streaming provider, we'd have to get on the phone, and then usually it's an argument. They're telling, no, you're screwing up. And we're like, no, you're screwing up. That kind of argument you've had with. I'm sure you've had that with Comcast.
Never.
So this year for most of the rounds they brought in the engineer from the streaming provider to be on site. And he would sit there, and if there was an issue, I mean, he would usually see it before we would see it on the stream, and it gave us a little bit of an opportunity to kind of nail the issue down before it affected people. And in a couple rounds, he was able to squash the bug before we had an issue with it. And so I think that's huge because he now is looking at everything we're looking at, and there's no more argument over, where the problem lies. And he's able to catch issues before they go downstream and affect people at home.
So 0% failure next year?
I wish. And I think the other thing is just we've relied, Irwindale, we got to come up with a better solution for that. And that's
well, if it's cooling, if the boards are overheating and all that, all these drivers have a lot of cooling sponsors and
Mishimoto could make a radiator
some kind of cooling system.
We literally just took a bag of ice this year and stuck it on the box. That's how we solved it.
I feel like that's not a good thing for electronics to put water.
It got us through the show.
So as I was doing some rough calculations on my Texas Instrument
TI, is that an 83 plus, dude?
TI is that a TI 82?
It's 83 plus. You guys were talking about commercials a little bit.
Yep.
Do you guys have your least favorite commercial?
This is a good
of
question.
all time?
Well, I could tell you one that
for FD live stream commercial.
Yeah, the live stream commercial. And I have one. I have one that drove me nuts the most, and maybe you guys will agree, maybe you guys will not.
We might agree.
All right.
So
it's the Motegi commercial
with the paintballs.
With the paintballs and the Corolla.
Yep, that was the worst.
Do you guys?
I know what you're talking about, but why? Why that one?
The music.
It's odd, the whole the paint.
I don't know if
it's very watery, so everywhere.
Mine wasn't visual. I think it was the audio. I think it was a mixture of the music that was playing in it, and then actually what was happening. I was kind of understanding what was going on, but I think the music was the absolute worst.
Which by the way, we're looking for sponsors. If Motegi is listening, we would like to talk to you guys.
Sam, it's a sales pitch for Sam. So if you guys really need a good commercial, Sam's the guy to help you out, and then we have Jeff that probably throw it on there for you guys.
Yeah, that commercial needs to be changed.
But that was probably one of the biggest ones.
Totally agree. To me, visually, it was just bad.
Also, just went through my head, and I was thinking about if I actually can stand behind my statement that all the music I've used in videos is licensed. It is not. Of course, on YouTube for personal videos, it's obviously fully not licensed, and the artists just get the revenue. But I'm talking about being aired on the Formula Drift live stream. There's definitely something I didn't license that I think went up. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Now, Jeff, what was one audio or commercial that was man, this thing is just kind of rough to put on the stream?
The Exidy one every year.
I was going to say that next.
That was a good number too.
Which one is that? I know.
Is it it's the 8-bit looking one?
Yeah, that's what I was talking
Nintendo
about.
One,
with the Mario sounds. Is that going to be back this year? Do you think? 2017.
I am pretty sure that's going to.
It's good. Let's not change it. Let's make it 3 years strong, dude. Just keep it rolling.
The funny thing is we can sing all the commercials to each other.
I'm sure.
I think that's the Exidy one.
That was the Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah.
And then
Hankook tiles.
Uncle Papa.
For the rest of the show, we're just going to sing our favorite commercials from FD.
We're really going downhill now.
Yeah.
There's your graph.
Yeah, Sam's going down.
Corey
fast.
just drew my live dial, and I'm going down in a
He has
fiery-
mild peaks. You have
I'm
mild.
actually like in the middle of an allergy attack too. Like I'm dying over here. Like I want
Well,
to kind of lay down and like blow my nose, but
Bring that beer up so people can see it.
yeah, my beer's
There you
helping.
go.
Daddy's medicine.
I'm just curious, like, what do you guys think? Like in the beauty of a live stream is we don't have a window that we're trying to hit. You know, like we have is I don't want to bore people, but I mean, like we could do things on the live stream that you couldn't do on television. So I'm curious, kind of what do you think is like? What do you think? You know, what would you like to see? What part of, in my mind, what part of the sport is really not being presented to the people at home?
I haven't watched in years, unfortunately, because I've been there. But Corey, you've watched the stream.
I've watched the past 2 years, and I've probably watched a couple years prior to that.
Well, those years you were at the track. So
yeah.
You,
So
you
it's
watched
two,
it after.
So you watched
on,
2016.
Two on, two off, two on.
You saw 2016.
Man, what would I like to see more of? You know, FD does tell a great story through the live stream, kind of like leading up to the event, the build up and the hype, and it has, you know, the top 5 guys in points sliding around with each other. Having Lorette in the pits definitely helped a little bit, kind of creating more of a story. And one thing, okay, so about this show, okay, about Maximum Driftcast, part of this is a way for drivers to showcase who they really are as a person, and I think it's a really cool way for them to explain, you know, who they are and show their personalities, and I think that's something that really needs to be put out there more. Is
Instead of having, like, I think what Corey's trying to say, like instead of having like more stiff interviews, like, so tell us about the run, you know, like just.
Well, once again, and I think having the camera in these drivers' face, I think a lot of them do get kind of shut down by like, man, I got to put Mr. You know, business face on and say, hey, this is going to be a great event. We're going to come out here and we're going to try to win this. Of course, everybody knows you're going to try to win this thing, but tell us a little bit more about yourself and show us who you really are as a person. And then also, we talked about this a little bit earlier, show some conflict, show some controversy. Mentioning FD is probably one of the only sports that don't have conflicts between drivers, which it may be a cool thing because we're all.
And that's kind of what Off Track was doing. Remember that? Remember Off Track? Do you remember Off Track?
No.
So Off Track was like a video series with Jared and Corey's good friend Dustin, also known as Jensen Argyle III.
Sam helped make it.
These videos,
Whatever.
they were made through. I guess it was made through Network A.
It was.
Yeah.
And there was kind of like a halftime show. They were recorded during the halftime, literally, and then
We recorded over the full weekend of the thing.
Yeah, but it will release like a week after the race.
Yep.
And it was funny because like Gerald will go walking around with a microphone talking to drivers, and it was again like instead of being like an interview, it was like, hey, what's up, chump? You know, you won a camera. Hey, what do you thought of this race? Hey, you're the best. The people's choice for the best battle. You and like. Conrad and Vaughn will be talking shit to each other, like, yeah, next time I see him, he's gonna crash into his door, and then Vaughn will be like, yeah, bring it on, boy.
Well, we've been trying to bring it back, but no one wants to pay for it.
Oh,
Insider info.
But that was one of the
fun
only
to
outlets.
watch.
That was one of the only outlets that they had as far as showing controversy, other than the live stream stuff, which is very limited. And I obviously I think time's an issue probably with live stream is like trying to figure out.
Certain drivers like Mad Mike, like anytime he's
Right.
on camera,
Right,
like he
Mike.
is just 100%
professional.
like there's no filter. Like
Right,
you're
right.
getting Mad Mike. There are other drivers
That was the best though, and like in Texas to see him authentically pissed off and like sad. That was really good though because his car had been fucking up all season, and here
He was doing super good.
He was doing really well here in Texas, and it just screwed him. And to visually get like Lorette talking to him and see him like half between anger tears and God knows what else was going through his head, but yeah, he was authentically pissed, and that was one of the first times seeing.
the real math
on the jumbo
Mike.
screen. It was really cool to see that level of frustration. Not cool, but it's good to watch.
But the other time prior to that was a Daigo and JTP in Florida like 2-3 years ago where they had the conflict in the pits.
Mm-hmm.
Live stream guys ran over there, kind of documented them, like JTP leaning in Daigo's car, kind of yelling at him because they had contact with each other. And that was like the highlight reel for that year was the confrontation and the the issue between those guys. But I think, depending on what they do for next year, I think they have the ability to sell a lot of good battles. I think they have.
We should just do a program of JTP fighting people.
Fighting more.
I'm fighting.
No, but I think sell the battles a little bit better. I think you can. Each guy has their own. If it's more factual, of like, this guy has more wins, but this guy's coming up the ranks and has been undefeated this last
Maybe
4 battles.
Overhyping it up a little bit more.
I don't want to use the word
Overhyping it.
I don't want to use the word
Well,
overhyping because it is a lot of. There's a lot
overhyping it on the way it's presented with real facts.
Okay, well, think
Just
about
kinda
this.
like last time Daigo annihilated Forsberg here with a kind of like.
But to execute that takes people
right.
that are so between when qualifying occurs and then the next day. I guess you have a team of a couple people then that are like looking for stories and making visuals for.
But the other thing too is it can't be sold in that one battle. Like obviously you have 30 seconds before battle. You can be like, all right, Osbo's been undefeated against this guy for the past 4 years, but Forsberg's been on this winning streak for the past 10. And blah, 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 blah. Nobody's going to pay attention to that. I think you got to sell it like at the beginning of the year and sell it each round, each stat for the driver, be a little bit more specific to it. So when they do meet head to head, I think the audience already kind of knows that.
Yeah.
Yep. Ryan Sage, are you listening?
Yeah.
Well,
and that was kind of like a long, elaborate story, but
don't they do like a little bit of like a recap from the previous round between Gerald and Ryan? Like they do like a little 5-10 minute video.
It's a TV crew would be double the size.
Yeah.
At least a double. I mean, like when we do X Games, it's an entire village of people.
Oh yeah.
That are working together. I mean, there's an entire research department that is feeding the announcers this kind of stats. So we don't have the luxury of that kind of stuff. But we do try to do little things like you said. Like we do try to do a highlight package of top 32 and try to pick the biggest moments that people may have missed. But I wish we could. I think that's a great idea, and I wish we could. We got to figure out some way to pull that off.
yeah, man.
It's called having about $3,000 more a round. Right?
No kidding, right? Yeah.
Well, there's like some new sponsors coming to FD, right?
Viagra, Hot Pockets,
Cialis.
Yeah. So I mean, there might be more budget if you think about it, right? I mean.
Well,
have you heard anything so far?
Yeah.
Do you know?
We're getting into dangerous territory.
Yeah, I was going to say.
One of the things we're talking about is, have you guys heard about like ELO rating systems?
Nope.
So it's a statistical system where you basically you figure out basically the strength of each driver and the probability that any one driver would beat another driver. And we plugged all the battles from since 2008 into a ELO ranking system, and it was really interesting what popped out. I mean, like the top guy, without like you would anticipate, like Frederick Osbo consistently came out on top, no matter how we kind of tweaked the model. Chris Forsberg was number 2, and then obviously Matt Field after 2 wins at the end of the season, like he was right up underneath him.
Yeah.
And then you saw that like what I was surprised was to see. Sorry, I'm forgetting his name.
You're obviously thinking of our
You're
longtime
dropping,
friend.
Joe.
Our longtime friend of the show, Mr. I forgot his name.
Jesus.
Your best friend. No, your best friend. Who's the driver that really likes God?
June Mang.
Yeah, he's June.
June Mang was number 5. No,
You're talking about June.
You have top 5 guy. Where was Vaughn at in that ranking?
He would come in. He would usually come in 4 through 7, somewhere in that area, along with Matt Field and Odin.
Where did Mad Mike be?
Tanner Faust was consistently like number 8, which surprised me.
Huh.
Hey,
how many times was Ken Block on there?
What? He's known as Mr. Consistency, right?
No, Paco, but I think the fact that he hasn't performed well. But I think the fans would go in there and be like, oh, Tanner's on there. I'm going to vote for him, even though no matter how good or how bad he does. And I think that says a lot about kind of how that...
But this ranking is just based on performance, right?
It's just... So, I mean, if you get... The one problem with the Formula Drift ranking system is if you get knocked out in top 32, even if you're getting knocked out by Chris Forsberg,
right,
you get, like, no points for that. And this ranking system would say, hey, you got knocked out by Chris Forsberg. So even though you got knocked out in top 32, because Chris Forsberg is one of the best drivers, you're not going to lose that many points.
Are you talking about this as a judging system?
No, I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about this way of telling another story.
Okay, I got you.
Of kind of behind the scenes what's going on.
Like there's more merit on losing against the highest ranking driver than losing against somebody who's
the underdog system.
And I think what's interesting is you can compare then the strength of brackets. Because you can look and say like, hey, say like when Matt Kaufman got to the Final 4 in
was it Seattle?
Texas?
I want
It
to
was
say
Seattle
Texas,
or
yeah.
It was Seattle.
It was Seattle.
Okay, but I mean, like, you was that a weak bracket? Did he get lucky? You know, like, or was it I mean, or versus
Right.
like say the bracket that Chelsea DeNofa had to go through to get to win Long Beach,
Right.
You know,
Or Matt Field and Irwindale.
Matt Field and Irwindale.
And Matt Field and Irwindale took out so many people.
Yep. And so I think there's different. It brings up different topics like
I
that.
could see that now.
You can kind of.
Yeah, because if a heavy hitter knocks you out, it's like almost expected, but you're not going to get dinged really bad. But if you ended up, being an underdog, taking a guy, your rank will go up tremendously.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So this would just be something that would show on the screen, like when we're about to see battle between
when we see a
Forsberg
matchup
and Osbo, and we'd see this is who is favored to win based off of the history.
Exactly.
Which we have already had the number on there as previous encounters, and we saw like Osbo has a 66% win rate against so and so, but this number would be different because it's based off of many other criteria. It's not just direct win rate.
Exactly.
Win
It's
rate.
based overall. So like when you see Odie versus Osbo is 0-7, I think that's a very misleading statistic. I mean, now it's like 1-7, but I mean, at the time 0-7 was very misleading. Those guys were a lot closer in skill
Yeah.
than that statistic would give you.
Right.
So it's another way of looking at it, and like I said, I think it brings up a lot of different storylines. I think the problem is that it's maybe too intellectual.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's I think a fun number to have on the screen, but you can't dwell on it, of course.
Yeah.
So you can definitely fall into the weeds thinking about like, oh, this guy has a driver rating of 63 points, and this guy has one of 67, and how did the 63 guy win?
Yeah. And that's why I would show the percentage. I mean, the thing is, from the system, you can base the probability of who's going to win. So
I wonder what.
And then we won't need judges anymore.
Yeah,
we
well,
don't even
I
need to
wonder
run.
what it would look like if you had a system where the audience could kind of judge on it as well.
one of the challenges with doing that is there's a 20-second delay on the webcast.
Right.
So people at home, like when we make the call to action, okay, tell us who you think is going to win. That's 20 seconds actually after we actually did that.
Is that just in case Jared says a swear?
I wish.
Yeah, 20 seconds just a
Yeah, is that way you can bleep it out if Jared says Butterfingers?
or poo poop joke.
Poo-poo jokes, yep.
No.
Incorrect.
Which actually, I was I was thinking about this even since last night for a question I wanted to make. Have you guys thought of maybe making, instead of like a 20-second delay, making it more probably like a 30-minute delay, just to make sure that everything is like condensed and ready to go, so there's less chances of having
Is an ambulance going by, Pop?
Oh, it's an ambulance. I wonder if the microphones will pick it up.
Yeah.
Bring me another drink, Sam. Thank you.
A 30-minute delay, Paco.
Well, I'm just thinking. Like, imagine like how long does it take sometimes for a problem to be fixed?
Well, what the problem's not going to be exist this next year. I don't think it matters. But I think the big problem with doing major delays like that is also the power of social media. It's like you look at all these shows that come on TV, and I see spoil alerts right away. It's like personally, like the thing is, I want to watch it right here, right now, and if I can get it live and not see a tweet or a Facebook post, give it to me. But yeah, I would preferably try to get it as soon as possible. But then also, the sooner you do it, the more fan interaction you could potentially have. Is like, out of 1,000 audiences, they say so-and-so driver wins, or, I think, but that also makes a cool engagement for the fans, knowing that they may have an influence on what they see on TV and knowing that they were a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it, and I think the thing that makes more sense is to have fans, like if we know, like we have a long break while people are changing tires before the finals.
Right.
So to have fans kind of before the race, to tell us who they think is going to win, because we have time. I mean, we have 5 minutes to fill, so that's a great opportunity.
See, that'd be kind of cool there, too, because you could take the fan
point of view,
fan choices, and then when you have like a 5-10 minute down point, even though you made it almost through the top 16 bracket, you can say the fans judge the battles this way, and do a recap all through that. But I think that's a kind of like, once again, another unique thing of if the fans agree or disagree with them, then that could also bring up the point of maybe why, other than just being purely biased, or if it was actually something that they believe, like, no, that was a fair battle and so win. But it'd be a good opportunity to kind of recap, but also once again keep the fans' engagement.
But what about like, let's say like you start like talking, you go during the live stream, you go talk to a fan, and they start dropping F-bombs and Would you think that would be considered a problem or?
No, you fight that guy then.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
I mean,
I'll be digital.
Obviously, like most of Lorette's interviews are not live; like they're recorded.
Right.
So
Yeah, they're definitely. You can tell like it's already night.
Yeah.
And then there's like Chris Forsberg during the day.
Whoa! All
It's not
videos
that bad.
aren't real at the exact moment that it's happening. I thought that's how Game of Thrones is made. I thought it was.
No, but it in the way it's presented on the live stream, it does kind of look like it's happening because you don't know at what point you're going back and forth in time. You know, unless it's night, and then the interview you see it's during the day.
And we try to keep it consistent, but occasionally, like we just get like we have that issue where there's a wreck and we have to dump all the content we've been kind of warehousing.
Oh God!
And then there's another wreck immediately
And
after.
then you do it all again.
And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, let's take that video that was shot during the.
Hey, can't you just hand it over to Jared to talk about craft beer?
That's where we know we failed.
Right before the show, you said you've got the craft beer measure, right?
Yeah, that's if he hits craft beer, we know that we need to really work hard and find something else for him to talk about.
Who would win in a fight, Jared or Ryan Sage?
We had this question before.
Ryan's all into the like extreme racing and things. So I think
you think he's got the speed
I think
and
he's got the speed
physique.
I think
Jared has the size, of course.
Jared has.
If Jared gets him on the ground, I'd say that Ryan Sage might be in trouble. But if it's just like if Ryan Sage can keep moving and keep float like a butterfly, sting like
not to mention that
Sage.
Jared's probably already like 5 or 6 beers.
Yeah, how many beers deep is Jared when he starts up a stream?
Over Ryan,
usually?
so.
I don't think I've ever seen Jared.
I know it's a
during
joke.
the
I
show.
don't want to shit on Jared because Jared's a professional. He's not going to drink before talking, but
go
his shirt
check,
does come off.
Go
the
check
second.
episode 4 of Maximum Driftcast.
I say Jared's shirt does come off immediately after you hit the cut button, right? The record button turns off, and then Jared's his shirt is off, right?
I mean, like the strippers come in and the party begins.
No,
right?
I don't mean like the strippers. I just mean that Jared likes to not wear shirts.
He's shirtless.
I'm a shirtless guy too. Like if I'm not recording the podcast, I'm just hanging out at my house, shirts off.
Nice.
I get it, Jared. Sun's out, buns out.
That was Jared's kid.
Oh yeah,
buns out.
Yeah.
During pool
Did
cast.
you see? Hold on. We have a ambulance break.
The wham.
Ambulance break. Hold on. All right. Yeah. So, did you see the episode where we were doing the pool cast with Jared and his naked child walked in the background? It was the funniest thing because this kid just like aimlessly wanders into the background, takes a look at the world, walks back out. It was good.
Free balling like a boss.
And that's the end of the episode. So where do we go from here? So you asked Corey what he wants to do. What do you want to do? What's your pipe dream to see on the live stream?
I feel like there's, like I said, there's great things that happen on the webcast all the time,
right?
And I want to do better. I want to bring those moments to the fan. I want to make fans feel like they are more a part of those moments. I think that is the thing that we can do better than anyone else can. We can make people a part of something that's happening at that moment. That's something that you just don't get on a on-demand video. And so coming up with ways that we can do better storytelling and give people kind of the context that they need to really understand why that moment is spectacular and awesome.
Yeah.
That's,
you need 3 Lorettes that are like running around.
At least 3 Lorettes.
Yeah.
She's does the work of 10 people to begin with.
Pepper-haired Lorette, the Mexican one.
I'm just saying,
one red with a mustache.
If you need a guy that's going to be like a media guy that's like on the ground recording stuff and can like talk to the drivers, like on camera personality, he's 30 going on 60, likes to stutter.
Well, we had we experienced that during our podcast from Irwindale just a few months ago. It like the way the interaction with the public, with the audience, the fans, and the drivers at the same time.
Yeah.
It like when you were talking about like that's kind of like we were saying like we can tell that was good. Like we weren't expecting that much of a
from our live. You're talking about our live segment with the AM booth.
Yeah, that was it. Definitely, you can tell that people likes that interaction as well. Like they like being part of it, and they liked
making up their fake Instagram names. Because each time the rule was for you guys that weren't there, I didn't see the little episode blurb we did. it was a live show that we're doing in front of the AEM booth at Irwindale, and the rule was we were asking fans questions and having them answer or ask drivers questions. And the rule was you had to say your Instagram name before you
Instead of your real name.
Yeah, instead of your real name. And of course, people made up some absurd ones and hey, I'm hot dogs for like $69.69.
I mean,
Obviously, that's things you can't broadcast on.
Yeah,
that's more of like a private. If you're here, you catch it. If you don't,
well, I'm pretty sure. What was her name? Fetus Slayer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's broadcastable.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think that when we're professionals on the Formula Drift live stream, we won't ask people to. We won't give people the room to say fetus slayer. Is that part of the trick with the broadcasting? Is you just don't give people the opportunity?
Right. I would agree with that.
Oh God. So how are you gonna get this new interaction that you want? Lots of money.
No, I mean the challenge is like it's hard to make it scale. Like you want as more people become involved, then like a smaller percentage of the people actually get to be on the screen.
And there's a higher percentage of failure too when you have multiple more cameras, multiple more people, multiple more technology.
Yeah, and I think just the big part is just. I mean, I think so much more. What I'm talking about is just. I think just good storytelling. I think. I think. The most memorable moment, one of my favorite most memorable moments from the season is, when Odie goes against Osbo in Seattle. He's 0-7.
Right.
He pulls off the track, and then he's really excited. He's high fiving his buddy on his team, and then he pulls something off his roof.
I remember that.
And it's like, immediately I'm like in Lorette's ear, and I'm saying like, figure out what the hell he just did. Because there was something between those two that went on that we weren't a part of.
Right.
Yeah.
And she jumps in there and it finds out that Odie had a sticker of Osbo's head stuck to his roof that he only could remove once he had beaten Osbo.
That's awesome.
And it's like I want to find more stories like that.
Absolutely.
And bring more of that to the fan. Because that to me is what drifting is all about.
100%.
Cool.
Yep, I agree with you 100% on all that stuff. And there's a lot of that's happening that's not showcased. And the thing, I think the argument here is, or the issue with that here is the lengthy event, making it within the time frame and being able to get that all information in there. And that's when we were kind of talking about, maybe there should be some sort of pre-show 3 weeks before Long Beach or 4 weeks recapping last year and kind of going over some statistics. So when people roll into Long Beach, if they were able to watch some of these episodes, they'd kind of be up to par on
I'd like to just see, like more like this show, but if you guys could get some more budget. Some sponsors would come on and really support you guys and
we could stop saying bad words and stop talking about Japanese underwear vending machines and be set.
Substitute the Mexican with a hot girl.
Dude, that is what we
would
need.
dress you up as a girl, Paco.
What if we turn Paco into a hot girl?
What if we about turn me into the Instagram questions? They're purring.
Instagram's
Hold on.
Instagram questions.
Hold on. Before going to there, no, I was just thinking, what are some, Corey, I feel like you know some stuff, because I did during my free show that I did for years to try to make my portfolio for FD. The Drift Chronicles, one of the episodes I talked to drivers about weird little quirks and shit they had. Like, so Forsberg one season did, he kept every water bottle he drank in his car door. Like I think it was his first winning season. Like he didn't empty out his car full of water bottles. Like that was a superstition thing.
And Yoshihara used to splash water on his radiator.
Little blessing of water. Like those are like weird little quirk stuff. So the Odie sticker is obviously not necessarily a superstition or quirk. It's just a cool thing that happened. I'm trying to think what other stuff went on this season.
If you're out there in the pits, if you know that kind of thing, like tell Lorette.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I would love to bring that to.
Lorette's definitely like what I said right before the show. Like
that's Drift Idiot Day
I
1.
respect the hell out of that lady. No, like I love that she like before she'll even talk to Vaughn, she'll like come up to me and be like, "Hey, what's his deal?" And she would talk to me before talking to Vaughn to see like what his state of mind was, so she knew how to approach it. So that was
ask him how pumped he is.
It was just cool to see though that was another measure of the journalism to figure out, one, should I even talk to the guy right now because he just lost the championship, but two, like what's how should I enter this here's situation?
Can I play devil's advocate to that real quick? Think about this though. Think if Lorette just had the huevos to walk over there, if he's happy or mad, and document that.
She does that too.
Right. And I think that,
but like Vaughn is usually hidden or talking to 20 other people.
She treads lightly with Vaughn. We've had conversations about how to approach Vaughn.
Really?
And I mean, she just doesn't want to lose access. She doesn't want to piss him off and lose access. He's a key story.
Yeah, I mean, you should never go to Vaughn. Vaughn is obviously a very nice guy. When you get to know him, he's just busy as hell with like 20 other things at the time usually. So, but she could, if you want to tell her, I feel like Vaughn, I hope you don't listen to the show to hate me. Like, she could just barge into the trailer and just be like,
Because
hey.
honestly, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
I would
more
love
invasive.
to see
unless they're
that.
having a team meeting, but I mean, that's only a small amount of the time.
Right.
But a lot of the time, he's just like trying to get in his mental space or cooling off or gearing
But
up.
see, like, okay, dude, like, look at some of the other journalists.
What if
like,
he's in his undies, though? She barges
but
in.
you know what? I think that's what makes it so good. It's okay if you guys, follow UFC or any of these other sporting organizations. It's like as soon as a fighter loses, they put a microphone in his face and ask him like, "Wow, man, you just took a big old beating. Tell us what happened." And it's either super emotional or it's like a rebuild story of like, "Man, do you know I just got my ass flipped out there."
Why can't we do
all the drama from the weighing in? I mean, that
you guys did try that in the past. I feel like you shoved the mic in someone's face right after the battle, but like we're not seeing that now. Is that just because of lack of manpower, or did you guys not like what that was? Because I feel like there's one thing I've always wanted to see is more on the ground people in real time. And why can't you just have a person that is at the finish line that's going to talk to the winner and loser after each battle?
I'm glad you asked that question. No, it was a strategic decision. I thought that those conversations tend to be the questions tend to be really unoriginal, and the responses tend to be less original than the questions.
I didn't do as good as I thought.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing: is if I don't think they've done it enough to let the drivers know, it's like, hey, man, you're gonna have a post-race interview after almost every single run.
Well, a lot
so
of the drivers
be prepared
need to
for
be.
that.
A lot of the drivers need to be made more into athletes, as we've talked about on the show previously.
Yeah, I mean, like I've heard Matt Field's line about like, if I didn't think I was going to win, I wouldn't have shown up.
Yeah,
I've heard that like so many times throughout the season.
Right.
And I feel like every time she interviews him, that line is if it's not in this interview, it'll be in the next.
Well, it's
one.
the journalist.
I'll tell you why.
Hold on, it's a journalist's job to not allow that, because you could be, all right, Matt Field, I get it, you're cocky as shit about this and you're gonna win, but like, why? What happened out there with like what it looked like you pulled harder on this corner, or you tapped the wall here.
Just dig deeper.
Yeah, just dig deeper and don't allow him to get away with.
Going back to that one quote from Matt Field, okay, let's go on this though. Going back to that one quote, I think that one quote is what started putting Matt Field up the ranks. I think the audience listened to that, and so every time he said that, I think the audience was like, "Oh, that's my guy," and like for guys
Matt
like
Field
us, we're like,
Matt Field is not the nice guy. He's not Chris Forsberg. He's not out there to help out the full arena. Not that he wouldn't help out anyone that asked for help, but his goal is not necessarily from my talks with him. His goal is not to make drifting a better sport. His goal is to punch Osbo and Forsberg in the face.
it's the punchline he created that connected with the fans.
Right? I didn't have that perspective.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like he's there.
I know he's cocky.
No,
but
I
I
don't
wouldn't
mean in a cocky way. I just mean that he's there to kick ass, and he isn't shy about it. Like Forsberg saying that he's there to improve the scene, and he's there to have fun, and he's there to compete and win. I feel like Field is there to punch the leaders in the face.
Yeah,
that's just my perspective.
Did
you see that Forsberg video that Donut put out about?
There is
it was talking about
I was in it, dog.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, for like 3 seconds.
I was going to screenshot that, and because you were standing in the back when he's hugging everybody, and you're like mouth's open,
like,
and I wanted to like screenshot that and just have the slow music keep playing. But he brought up the point of him wanting to creating a legacy in drifting and being the 3-time champion. But to him, he was saying that it was more about the impact he has on the sport as far as growing it, getting it the recognition that it needs, and winning is cool and a part of it. But there's so many other parts of it that he goes after. And I think what you're saying with Matt Field, it's like.
No, he's there to fuck shit up.
I'm going to punch everybody I can to get to the top and trample them, and he does have that assertive attitude.
I guess it's partly going back to your question about why don't we have finish line interviews. I think it's partly resources. If we're doing that, then she's not tracking down the story about...
Well, I mean Lorette. That's why I didn't say Lorette. I said a journalist.
A journalist. So if we don't... Yeah, I mean, we could put a reporter there, but we just don't have the money.
Yeah, that's what I figured. There's always like fun ideas, of course. Like, it's Sam and Corey and Paco. Why don't you guys go on a Vegas vacation and make a video of you guys gambling a ton and like being...
I mean, what do you want out of that moment? Because to me, it just feels so... Like, I think like everybody has watched TV and knows what a finish line interview should look like.
Right.
So
I think it's two things. I think
it's because if you get the road answer, normally the way you would overcome that is you would follow up. But she doesn't. I mean, when you're only given a minute, because we want to.
Yeah.
I feel a lot of careers are made and broken in that interview.
Really?
I'll give an example. My example would be is how people handle loss.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that emotional connection of like, do you know what, man? I went out there, I laid my heart on the line, and I just wasn't the good man this day. I think you just emotionally connected with that.
I
driver.
totally agree.
Like
Yes.
if we had did someone was right on the ground to talk to Forsberg the seconds after his crash?
So okay,
after
not seconds, but she was there.
Yeah, she was there. I remember.
Going back to my point, I just connected with that guy on some sort of personal level, emotional or not. Man, that guy he laid it out there and he took the law. And then you have the other loser. It's like, do you know what, man? Like, if game over, I don't care. I'm out. I'm going to pack up. I'm going to drive back home. Or you have the winner that's like, he wasn't doing good all season, so I just laid it down. I'm like, I thought I would. Now, in my mind, I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
I think it's a way for these audiences to see that personality, the good guy and the bad guy.
You want to see 1990s WWF?
Well, to a certain degree.
No, I mean that in a good way.
You still see that in a lot of modern day sports. I use UFC for reference. You see that
NASCAR
in
is a prime example of that.
NASCAR, when they crash, they're right at the ambulance as soon as the guy walks out, saying, "I want to punch that guy in the pits." Once he gets out,
or as soon as like the throwing punches starts, like they're running with the cameras right into the pits.
So here's the other thing: is Monster Energy is now the primary sponsor of NASCAR, and they're almost
you know that?
Yeah, Monster Energy NASCAR series,
Mr. Newsman.
But in one of the interviews, they're condoning this. They're telling drivers not to be so tame now. Be yourselves. Be that person.
Be that monster.
Oh yeah, well they've already known that controversy.
And that's in an interview. And you can look it up. Look up like some sort of Monster NASCAR. What was the?
They're gonna be feeding energy drinks to all the drivers. I'm sure they're gonna
But it was
be
a
all
leniency.
cheery.
It's a leniency on professionalism on NASCAR drivers. Yeah, I think they want to make.
They want controversy. They want conflict because that makes an interesting story.
Right.
I see where you're coming from. I think one of the things I learned about filmmaking is that like a moment isn't complete until you see the reaction.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're right. By not having that finish line interview, we're depriving people of that moment. I wonder, does it need to be an interview, or can it just be like like sometimes some drivers are really expressive.
Right. Yeah, if we just showed it, better.
Yeah, instead of an interview, just kind of like a little. I'm thinking.
So hold on.
Have you seen like the Japanese shows, like the
most extreme elimination challenge?
Where they get hit in the head with soccer ball.
Well, there's like stuff like that with like that reaction when they get there's like their face like, oh my god, it's just kind of like fun.
Let's make this
if
simpler.
It's like very small.
Let's make this simpler. If you cut to that video of Mad Mike after what's happening in Texas, he didn't have to say a word. You could visually tell that he was upset, frustrated, sad.
So they were there. She did it. They were there, but it's just more of that.
But that's what I'm getting at too. That's what I'm getting at too. Is that one clip resonated with all of us here and we all remember it?
Yeah.
There's a million other interviews too.
Yeah.
Why don't we remember them?
No, I think that, and I think we were trying to pick our moments. Like if we know that
with your budget
she
and your
walks
ability.
by and so who threw their helmet and Irwin down? I'm trying to remember. I don't know.
Mad Mike threw his steering wheel.
Oh, steering wheel. Yeah,
that was Mad Mike. That's when they didn't let him back in the track because his car wouldn't pass tech. And after the crash.
And that wasn't just chance. Just a wireless camera guy was walking by, saw that moment, and we happened to have that on the replay machine.
You got it.
Yeah, so we played it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think...
look at this guy's anger problems. I've said it, guys. I've said it for years.
So here's the
it's
thing.
Not true.
You guys seen the video that just came up?
Gentler than June.
Came up online probably like a couple months ago of this kid drifting, local event, hits his car into the wall, and then out of anger, he starts punching the windshield.
Right.
And it went viral, even though that video was like from a year ago, like old story already. Probably that kid didn't know he was being filmed. He just, he threw a tantrum, and then he's the one who actually reposted it, like, oh, this was a year ago. And then it went viral, and people's like calling him like, oh, you're so stupid, you react like a little... How counterproductive it could be, like getting that kind of like just natural reaction, and that it goes to
that's about being professional.
But professional athletes have to be professional.
Exactly.
Because go ahead.
So like it would have to be something like, hey guys, just so you know, everything is
they should know that going on.
They should already know.
You overreact or something.
They went through the amateur league already. We shouldn't be preaching that. If that's how they want to act, then let them act that way. But I think...
And maybe fans will love it.
These drivers will create their own image amongst the audience. It's just that we don't have an opportunity to see that. Unless it's on a behind-the-scene things. Or even if it's a sit-down interview, you still don't get that true who you are.
Yeah.
You get that who you are moment in very limited situations.
I want to be Randy Man Macho Savage.
I was gonna say, like, I wonder how many drivers, like, especially like new drivers, will try to come up with like their own character, like a new character, just for that, you know.
Maybe not. And I think
I can see some new drivers that are coming to the series that they're all kind of like starting to build like their own kind of like particular online reputation of being certain ways, and we know them that they're not really like that. I mean, you probably see. I don't want to say names, but you've probably seen it.
You've seen like Corey Hosford goes out there, acts like a real goofball, but like when the camera's turned off, he's just a real dickhead. He's real uptight.
Did I ever tell you guys the Matt Power story about when we went out to eat?
Yeah.
And all his friends were around. So we went out to eat. Oh, we went to Mellow Mushroom.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about
And
it.
it was me and Dustin. Yeah, it was me and Dustin and Powers, and we were all hanging out together.
And Sam.
And you were there. Right?
Yeah.
I was there.
And we're all hanging out, and Dustin's cracking jokes in front of all of like these Matt's friends, and was like, "Hey, Matt, show all these people your face. Show them how pretty your face is." Like, just cracking jokes, and everyone's like, "What the hell is Dustin talking about?" And Matt pulls us aside, and he's like, "Dude, the camera's not on you guys. Why don't you start acting normal for once?" And it's like, this is on and off. Like, this doesn't turn off.
No,
And,
you guys are just always assholes.
That's Dustin.
Yeah,
And-
like there is no turning off Dustin or you to some degree. It's like, yeah, you're just always kind of your on-camera persona is literally your off-camera persona, which I can't say that for me. Like
I'm happy to show that though, and I
Yeah.
think that's what makes me unique. And honestly, I don't think my driving is what gave me my reputation by any degree.
Oh, certainly it is not.
You know what I mean? But then again, it just goes to show that if you can develop these things about
Randy
you,
Man Macho Savage appearance,
that I think that could be another breaking point for you where more people can connect to you. Because I can't just connect to you if you're driving a Monster Energy Mustang, but I can connect to you as a person, which will make me more of a fan.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the sport means, is being able to create more fans. And the only way that's going to happen is if the drivers can create them.
I totally agree.
All right, let's get to some Instagram questions here.
Oh boy.
So right off the bat, we've got from Tass Shenowitz. Will FD ever go on Twitch? Which I think is a funny question because
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
no, and also you can answer.
I mean, there's a Formula Drift is currently on Sports Rocket. Is the name of the company that actually hosts the stream.
Yeah,
And they have a relationship, a partnership, kind of with Network A through Sports Rocket. So I think there's a lot of advantages to Formula Drift for being on the Network A platform that I don't know that Twitch necessarily brings to the
but
table.
where was it 2 years ago?
It was God, what was the name of that company?
Justin TV.
No, it was.
It was on Justin TV years
and
ago.
Justin TV is partnered.
Twitch.
Is Twitch.
But
so
I mean,
FD was literally on Twitch,
It's true.
but just before Twitch is as popular as it is today.
What
Thanks
other
for
live
calling.
streaming broadcast was it on? It was on Twitch, and then it was on, or not Twitch, but
It was Justin TV.
and there was another one too. It was on.
Well, like the company that they that did
No,
that
where they
live
used to
streaming?
live stream it from.
Daily Motion.
Daily Motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on there as well.
Yep.
Yep. I have a question from Stay Foul. He always gets some good questions. And he says, what's it like to having the only thing in Formula Drift less reliable than Chelsea Denofa's car?
That hurts. I mean, if Chelsea's car worked 99% of the time, I think he'd be pumped.
Yeah, exactly.
So put some glue,
Yeah,
glue on your cameras.
I think we kind of stumped some of the facts as far as like, yeah, you guys have had 99% of the stream. And the other thing too is nobody pays for this. The audience that watches this does not pay for this. So why do we complain?
That pisses me off. Absolutely.
I did hear people say though that they would pay $10 like an event for better quality.
entitlement.
Let me defend the fan.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to defend the fan. The thing is that we have a monopoly on that content, right? Like normally, if your cable service sucks, you go get a different provider. But the problem is that the only way to get that content is through us. So if we screw it up, you can't pick our competitor to get the same content.
Yep.
So I think the frustration is just that they as a fan you feel powerless when you only have one option and you're not happy with the quality.
But you are not the cable provider. You are HBO. You know what I'm saying? It's not like if you're gonna start watching Showtime just because you're not liking Game of Thrones. You can't watch Game of Thrones on a different.
But if
network.
Game of Thrones starts to suck, then you find another TV series.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just put it like that. Okay.
No.
By the way, Game of Thrones doesn't suck.
But we're working hard. I mean, it is the number one priority in the off season is to.
And why don't you guys charge people?
I think IDC did, and I don't know their numbers, but I know from talking to other series that have charged people, like you lose 90% of your audience.
I remember
because it was
paying-
$2.99 or something.
Yeah, I
like
remember
that.
paying like $3 for watching IDC.
Is it possible to charge for an HD stream, or you can't
I
transmit
think most
that
people
fast?
don't even
They don't want. They
I mean,
don't
just
care
as a
about
bonus
HD.
though, like what resolution do you transmit in?
7. No, it's a good question.
Oh.
I think it's. I mean, it's shot in 1080, and I think we put it out at 720.
Okay, I'm just curious if there's even that option for. Not that it would be more reliable, it'd be more bandwidth, and that might already be the thing that's clogging the pipes. So
I mean, the bandwidth is not the limiting factor, but it is a limiting factor for people at home. You know what I mean?
right.
It's funny. Username Nick Williams 350C just wrote a comment says like, "Why does it suck? Could you make it not suck? I am willing to pay like IDC if it will come through clearly."
But Nick is the minority, is what.
That's
the
1 out of
numbers-
20 comments.
That's what the numbers have found, though, is that Nick might be a hardcore drift fan, but a lot of the casual people, like my buddies, and I think my mom would probably pay for it. But I think of like all my buddies at home that like watch it that aren't even big drift fans necessarily, but they want to see FD weekends. They're not going to pay $5.
And
for
I
it.
don't know that like unless we go in and spend tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars to get fiber to Irwindale. I mean,
It's just crazy to think that's like kind of like right in the Los Angeles area.
And a lot of other big racing organizations still run there, like USAC, and they.
And when X Games was there, ESPN paid for fiber to be run to the stadium.
Wow.
Really?
And like it was too costly for Irwindale to,
As a somewhat good segue there, KD Price 30. Why is professional drone racing covered on ESPN and FD is not? Confused AF. I'm going to add a fam on their end of there because I feel like you probably missed the fam, but confused AF fam.
So
No comment on that. That's not necessary.
There's different, so drone racing has a bunch of investors behind it, right? So a bunch of people that are like, let's lose a bunch of money up front. Let's grow the sport as fast as we can. And let's turn around and sell it.
Is it like GRC?
Investors. I mean,
yeah.
Okay. So.
And so the idea is they're going for broke, right?
Right.
And Formula Drift, I don't know. Like this is more a question really for Ryan Sage, but my understanding is Formula Drift is like we're going to go out there and we're going to be profitable year after year after year, so that we're not going anywhere 20 years from now, and it's a gradual growth thing. The other thing is like, do we really? I don't know. I don't have a cable subscription.
No, I don't think
neither.
any of us
Me
do.
neither.
So do you really want to be? I mean, it's more reliable. I can see that benefit. But
Yeah.
people that are watching in Europe don't get to see it.
What is the future importance of this? Is that I'd say this question would have been more prevalent a couple years ago, back when the TVs were still as important, but now considering the market has changed very rapidly into a generational thing where almost no one now under the age of 30-ish is paying for cable. At least no one I know. Maybe I have my own bubble of people.
Probably Netflix.
Yeah, let's say I have my
They're
own bubble of
investing
people.
elsewhere.
Well, they're either Netflix, they're Hulu, they're Amazon Prime, or they're pirating. Yeah, or streaming free shit. So I guess it's no longer the ultimate goal to be on ESPN. I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think sponsors would be happy, but I don't know that it would be good for fans.
But okay, so is TV view count still that good? Like, because sponsors would be happy because the views are up, right? Would that be the whole intent of pride yourself on being on TV is you can get views and then you can sell commercials?
I mean, I saw the numbers for when there was a League of Legends event on ESPN.
Oh God, I bet it was
Yeah.
huge.
And it was not.
It wasn't?
No, most of that fan base, they get like 18 million views if they stream it, and then like 250,000 views on
I
TV.
saw people bitching about it too.
Yeah.
The ESPN normal people looking for football. Like, why are these nerds clicking buttons?
Oh
See,
my
but-
God.
but-
But
okay,
let me also add real quick. I don't like League of Legends. I can't watch it. It's kind of fucking boring.
Yeah, well, Corey is a fan.
No, Corey likes Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah,
He's a
I'll play
Blizzard.
Hero-
He's a Blizzardman.
Yep.
Oh no, yeah, that's
Heroes of the Storm.
Dan Brockett's a League of Legends
Yep.
kind of free. Anyways,
Anyways,
no, I mean think about it. The people who likes playing in the computer likes to watch stuff through the computer.
like
I'm
porn.
sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, people who plays football games, they don't play football games on their computer. They
Football
play-
games.
or
No,
sports games.
No, sorry. I thought you meant the actual sport of football.
No.
And you're calling it a football game.
American football.
American football.
Yeah, pigskin. People who plays football games like John Madden, whatever, they watch it on their TVs, and they want to watch sports through their TV. You don't watch people watching a live stream on their computer for their NFL games.
The other thing I don't think people realize is that if Formula Drift were live on TV, there had to be significant changes to the format.
Of course, yeah.
And that's, I think, so they were
Yeah.
trying to change over the past couple of years, was trying to tailor it.
So
to
good. We're full of segues here. Cam Auto Mag says, will we
that's a good one.
when will we see things that we see on broadcasts of other racing series, i.e. pit reporters, crew interviews during the event, cutting to in-car shots mid-run?
And that's also a second part question. And it also says, what goes into live streaming the events? It can't be just a couple of handicaps, a guy with switching RCA cables around.
Right.
Well,
I mean,
we already talked about that.
Talked about
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, it is a couple of guys, and then the rest of us we just sit around and drink beers the whole time. No.
From the phone.
Let me back up. So I think we've tried we have a pit reporter. I wish we could bring in more crew people.
yeah, you would have to have, if you're going to do a full seamless live show, you'd have to have 3 different crews running around. So that's, and let's say each crew has a camera. They have the technology. You've got the cameraman. You've got the reporter, and you have to pay the people. You have to pay for everything in between it. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars extra per event to do this. Which maybe, I'm not saying that this shouldn't be done. Like, fucking throw down, Sage. Put some pay for the extra broadcast. But I guess the big theme that I've taken away from this show is, will it matter? Will anyone give a shit?
Yeah.
Other than this guy on Instagram and me, because I think that would be sweet. And I would fucking apply for that job.
You may look at the potential investment of, will this be able to capture audiences? Will this be able to capture new people to come to the sport?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you'd have to justify by doing.
And
these other
retain
shows.
current ones.
Right, and retain, or make it more intriguing for one of the current fans to say, hey, man, I've been watching drifting this past week. It is getting crazy. I've been watching these couple-ass interviews. Like, check this out. Like, being able to create that shareable content or something where it's like, dude, this driver's so funny, you should watch him because it's hilarious.
I thought the interesting thing, that the only time that the drift stream's been on Jalopnik was when Ryan Turk broke his car in Long Beach and was running around. And I thought it was interesting. It wasn't even an on-track moment.
Right.
That I think that the thing that went viral, if you could call it
That's
that.
what I'm saying. The things that are going to go viral are that time that Corey Hosford beats Chris Forsberg, and like, Corey, how do you feel? And he's just like, I don't know. I didn't mean to. Like, it'll be funny.
Right.
It's like that'll be the most shareable thing when Corey just like slowly like, puts up his hands.
If you ever do something epic, please just like ruin it with like the worst interview.
Yeah.
It'll be amazing.
Well, I did that one interview where that dude asked me what I thought of the weekend, and I told him I don't know because I showed up late because my mom didn't
My
wake me
mom
up.
will wake me up.
Yeah, that one got floated around quite a bit.
And then also like we already said that your first. I know they don't do the top 16 necessarily in Pro 2. It'd be something else, but we already said the first time of the year, maybe in top 16-ish announcements, he's gonna have a pocket full of bacon or like a hot dog in his pocket.
Don't spoil it.
And it's fine.
It might happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's never gonna make
I'm
it
just
to
saying
top
that-
16.
This is something to look forward to.
I'm just saying, look forward to it. Like when they do the announcement, he's just gonna pull a cold hot dog out of his pocket, take a bite, and
Wave it to the
throw
crowd.
it into the audience.
Yeah. But it's all about capturing those moments, and I think drivers should also look at finding ways to how they can also influence those moments. Drivers got to do a lot of work.
It's not just piloting the car.
No,
as
it's
we have
not.
said on
They
this
have
show.
to do a lot of work, and
I mean, they have to talk to all these cameras and put
that's
up game face.
it's not just racing anymore. I don't think it is just racing anymore. It's well beyond that. It's to a point. We mention this all the time. Is like people are, so how do you get sponsors? Well, you can't just go out there and win. That doesn't matter. Some of the guys that we've talked to is like, yeah, you can go win a million races, but winning is not guaranteed. And this is what a lot of people tell us. You go out there and you compete. That's not guaranteed. What can you guarantee us, though? Mm-hmm. Well, I can guarantee you we're going to do 2 videos at each round. We'll do 3 interviews. We're going to do a big press release after the event. You're guaranteed that. So if we win, that's just a byproduct. A lot of people are not selling these other side things. They're only trying to sell, we're going to push to win.
Yeah.
That's still not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And wins don't necessarily win sponsorships, as we've
Right.
found from drivers and past champions.
And the other thing that I remember on Jalopnik about drift cars, when one of the journalists drove Tony Angelo's
and drove it off into the woods.
drove it off into the woods.
Yeah.
And he was just saying, these things are the most ridiculous cars that we've ever driven.
Yeah,
considering
they're all sub 10-second drag racers essentially, unless you're Odie on bald tires in Phoenix.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Atlanta Drift says,
Okay,
interested in
please.
some info on advertising side of things. He's got a bunch of questions, but we can answer as we can. Is live stream a better way to reach fans than cable? I think we kind of...
Well, I think the thing about live streams, it's highly targeted, right? So if you're trying to sell to a drift specific audience, I think like the people when it's on ESPN or when the show's on TV, I would imagine you're getting a really broad spectrum. Like people are just sitting on their couch, and happen to have the TV tuned in to that particular moment. Because I think a serious drift fan wants to see it live. So if you want to reach a drift specific audience, I think the drift stream is the best place to hit a wide.
But then you don't get new audience necessarily unless that is shared.
I think it kind of goes to that same thing that I was talking about. Like I think most drifters are computer nerds. Think about it.
Well, okay, so hold on. Before you say that, I think Ryan Sage has even said that drifting has grown with social media.
Yeah, totally.
So it's totally a tech savvy,
it's tech savvy people.
induced, grown sport.
Except they can't figure out when we're just doing a Facebook live stream that there's a link to the real live stream right above that.
Where do we watch this at? where do we watch this at?
Or just on formulaDrift.com and go to live.
Yeah, that's how I get there. Yeah, this is considering one of the newest forms of motorsports. It just came in such a good time that it's been growing with social media.
Yeah. All right, more parts of this question. How does the CPM compare to FD on cable? Does that mean clicks per minute?
No, it means it's. I forget what
CPM?
it is.
Cheating panda makers?
CPM.
Sounds like clicks per minute.
Chief Piano Man.
Chief Piano Man?
No, it's the metric per 1,000 views.
Congo Panda Master.
So it's like $1 CPM would mean $1 per 1,000 views.
He knows what he's talking about.
I can't remember what it stands for at the moment.
So do you know how it compares to FD on cable?
No, I don't. That's a Ryan Sage question.
Ryan Sage question. Tweet him. Atlanta Drift. I'm sure he'll answer. How many new companies are getting involved? Atlanta Drift also asks.
Is it better for companies to reuse TV ads, or should they just make targeted live stream ads?
I mean, you always wonder. Once again, this is really a Ryan Sage question.
Yeah.
But
you always want to target, right?
Why can't you just be Ryan Sage?
Oh,
No, I'm kidding.
he's asked that all the time.
I think targeting your ad to your audience, the more specific you can be, the better reaction I imagine you're going to get.
Right.
Hey, are you Paco Ibarra? Buy this.
Yeah.
I guess that's the point of Facebook ads. It was literally to say that.
But that's totally not my background, so I would don't.
I have another question.
Don't make your financial marketing decisions.
But you should advertise on Livestream because it will be the number one way to reach your fans.
And that's how we're going to get more pit reporters.
Beep, 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 exciting. That's the advertising. Question from 303 Villain. Any new implementations to bridge the gap between judges' decision making? Between judges' decision making and what it seemed on the live stream. I think it's kind of like talking about like there seems to be like a difference.
The disconnect we've had all year with the fans not agreeing with
which
the
might
judges.
go back to the drift knob or the little or something like
which
that.
was a good idea at heart, I guess. But
I think
having Ryan Lantain.
yeah, I mean,
I think that's
has helped.
That's the
It's also
best
a judge's
solution
question.
we've come up
Well,
with.
but you guys came up with that knob thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was someone else. Someone within Formula Drift came up with that idea and kind of brought it to us and said, "Hey, can you do this?" And that's where our problem.
I'll be honest with you about the knob. I couldn't understand it.
I think that was the big issue with it.
I could not understand it because it would go up and down, but who was up and who was down?
Well, it had like
it
a
would
blue
say
and
lead
red.
and chase, but you're right. I mean,
I couldn't.
Was it also
comprehend.
distracting for the judges to not actually pay attention to the real
They
run?
wouldn't. You would see one judge would be like dialing things the wrong way.
Right, I was going to say
Working.
it's probably like driving like an RC car with the wheel on it. You don't know which way's right or left, so you're just like,
Go faster.
I think the best solution we come up with is having Ryan Lantain,
Right.
and I think we're going to see. I know we're going to see more of his input in the show.
Whose decision was that?
I don't know. Ryan Sage.
We talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if he's some, like.
Oh.
come on,
Okay.
Pac. We can't
No.
test
No,
the man.
yeah, but I agree. It's that's definitely a good change that we saw last year.
And it was actually going to happen before Weinberg Gate, but it just happened to roll out at the same time. So they say.
So they say.
You got any more brilliant questions over there, you genius?
You dingus.
You dingus.
So do you think I've gotten to number 1 on the most hated list?
Do you
Do you
no,
think
I
this
think
helped or hurt?
I think it's hard to say. I'd say maybe.
Maybe.
No. I mean, people are always going to hate Andy Yen. So if there's one thing I've learned from every driver we've asked who's your least favorite judge, just for fun, they always say Andy Yen, which Andy Yen is also the only judge we've never had on the show. So hopefully...
But we met with Andy Yen at Phoenix Round out here.
Yeah, how was that?
He was actually
Did he bite you?
He was very pleasant. He actually invited us to go off-roading on the Lucas short course in his rental truck.
Jerk, dude.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting is everybody talks about how scary Andy Luck is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is scary.
He's so nice to us.
No, he's nice. He's definitely nice.
We haven't had an issue with him in years.
I have seen him like physically assault a media guy. That's not true. No, I've seen him media dudes that were definitely like out of bounds, like doing something stupid. He was like, "Hey, fucker, leave." And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
I agree with you, yeah, but I am also now scared of you.
So I don't understand. I mean, so maybe like there's an Andy Luck metric where it's inverse to how much you're hated. Like the more Andy Luck likes you.
Oh, yeah. I think once you get on that one side, you start pinning too far to the left, he's going to get you a couple times.
Do you have any other?
Is that about
Yeah,
other
have it.
Do you have any question for us?
Why would he have...
Just trying to play.
He's... Thing is, you said, do you think you're the most hated? I don't think you are, honestly. And
No.
I think you being here and being open-minded and being like, no, trust me, I want to. This is my lifeline. You know, being able to make a quality stream. If I made a shitty stream, I'm out of job. Like, there's no reason for you to purposely try to make a bad stream, and it's not bad by any means. We looked at the numbers. You're up 99% of the time. It's free. It's in 720p. What is there to not hate other than the 0.1% that it may be down?
And I'll be honest with you, I can give you my email address, jeff@adrenalinegarage.com.
Boom.
Like,
Adrenaline
if you're not
Garage.
happy or you have a suggestion, like, reach out. I'm not going to get back to you probably
Until after the weekend.
after the weekend I recover, but seriously, I mean, I'm more than willing to
because most of the people I think are just mad about connectivity issues, which you can either own up to, which you have on the show, the few select times that it was your fault, or it's people bitching and you're like, well, can you check with your ISP and see?
Yeah, and don't email Jeff saying, "Oh, I was riding through the boondocks on 2G network on my phone and you lost reception. Why does your stream suck?" Or if you're on a 56K modem dialing up out of your bedroom and it cuts in and out, obviously there. But
Or
like
stealing your
seriously, if it's like,
neighbor's Wi-Fi.
hey, you should try thinking about implementing this, or maybe try doing this, or if you have good suggestions or feedback or any type of information, he's obviously open to communicate with you guys on these things as well as we are. If you guys have any information to us that you would like for us to pass on, we would love to do that. And obviously anything that we can do as a group to better the community or better the way you get the end review product of the stream.
That just reminded me, though, we got some, not you guys, just me, got some creative criticism last week from the show.
Yeah.
Supra8065 said, Sam is the worst part of the show.
Oh my God, I didn't even see that.
For it.
and then
Is that on the YouTube?
Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to find the full. And then I said, okay, why do you think that? And he goes, "'Cause he sucks, LOL." And then I said, "This is Sam. What would you like to see me do differently?" Like I'm honestly trying to engage this guy.
Suck less.
Like, okay, okay, I suck. Sure, I'm sure multiple people think that, but tell me why I suck, because I actually would like to get better. Like, I'm not the fucking perfect podcaster. I'm not the perfect video maker or anything. But if someone creatively and politely is just like, "Hey, man, you interrupt too much. Stop it."
Yeah.
As many people have said, and I've tried to work on. But yeah, of course, I want honest feedback. And if someone says, "Hey, Jeff, eat shit and die," you're gonna be like, "All right, well, have fun. Get well soon." But then if someone says, "Hey, Jeff, I think this part of the show is boring. Can you fix it?" And then you're gonna respond.
I mean, I really would like that feedback. I mean, really, I feel better when people. I do this because like any filmmaker does it. You do it because you really want to create an experience for the people watching your product. And if people are pissed and angry at you, then you don't feel good at the end of the day. You don't do it really to piss people off. You do it because you want to give people something that they really enjoy and are really excited about. And that's what drives me. And so the better I can do it, the happier I'll be personally.
I did actually just see that this guy did respond, and he said, "Let the show just go whatever direction it wants."
Well, that's what we do.
I feel like we don't really run a highly structured show. Like, how much do you want to, like,
how much lose should we get?
Yeah.
Like, should we just lose the table? And
I don't know, man. Let's just let the show go whatever direction it wants.
Oh, that could get real. Like, honestly, that could get real bad.
I think he wants another drunk cast. See, exactly.
There it is. It's gone. We're done. That's it. Sam, and that's a wrap right there. Yep, Sam just broke his phone. And
I just catted some stuff.
That
out
was
the
for
car.
what was his username?
Supra 6969.
I hope he's
420.
listening.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, he probably is never going to watch a show again after
Sam spoiler.
because
Well,
I'm here.
I don't know.
Maybe he got excited when he just saw you here, and then
There you
Oh,
go.
God.
Clickbait.
and then he
Yeah.
unclicked or unfollowed, unsubscribed,
You just ruined that guy's day.
Yeah, he smoked, dude. He's done.
smoked it. Yeah. So let's wrap her up. What are you
Yes.
gonna? What do you think about it?
What?
That's the new segment.
I mean, your drift dial here is not giving me confidence.
Yeah. Well, that's Paco.
Okay. Well,
So-
I mean, I think we were all.
Yeah, I've been doing-
I did pull back a little
You were
bit.
pulling back up. I
Yeah.
think the knob actually went the wrong way. The judges was
You
still.
got confused about which way it was going.
I've been doing a handwritten drift knob, drift judge dial.
Mine
knob
was a
of each
steep
person.
straight down. Sam had a couple spikes on the way down.
Yeah.
Paco had to use 3 post-it notes because how far he went down. One's
It's
actually
gonna go
like.
any lower.
Why do you put up with it? Are you gonna just like break?
I'm
one
gonna
day?
go show the camera this real quick.
Read the comments.
I told you-
Everybody keeps saying that these two dickheads.
I did
always,
tell
like,
you,
talking shit.
Paco,
I'm
that
just like
that Forsberg actually did text me after one episode. He's like, "Why are you so mean to Paco?" He saw it.
Forsberg's on your side.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Why are you like just say it?
Let's be honest here, Paco. It's because I like you a lot. It's like kindergarten love. You know,
Uh-huh.
like when you like push a girl over because you like her.
In Mexico we call it Apache love.
Apache love.
Yeah. I don't know if it applies here, but
Is that the name of the episode now? It could be.
welcome to Apache
All right.
love.
So we now learn where to find Jeff, which is Jeff at Adrenaline Garage.
Garage.com.
Are you on Instagram?
Send all the hate mail.
I forget my Instagram name.
All right.
All right, search for
What?
Jeff at Adrenaline, Facebook, Instagram. And you can also find him at the Formula Drift live stream. He's the guy that is just right behind Jared. He's wearing like a black outfit, whispering in his ear the whole time because you don't use any technology to like actually talk to him or a microphone.
No, I think we said we were using RCA cameras and
Yeah.
yeah.
And
every time you shake your fist in the air, it's pretty much going into this direction.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously, talk to him kindly if you want to give some feedback. I imagine we are maybe not doing a show next week because it's Christmas, but
Right.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
We might have a Christmas episode, a Christmas special.
We may. I
It
guess
has to be the Christmas special. And it has to be in Hawaii,
Yeah. How do we get to
like
Hawaii?
the Brady Bunch.
I guess we could do one in the back of the van, like a really Christmassy theme where we're in the back of a greasy van.
You should see what's in the back of the van right now.
What's in the back of the van, Paco? What's in the van?
Bodies.
What's in the van? There will be bodies after riding that thing from hell. It's wow, that actually sounds
Sorry.
pretty good.
Yeah, nice.
So I bought a drift trike,
Yeah, I assumed you already had a couple of those.
which is
because you have every other silly automotive thing
I
ever created.
guess this is my first drift trike. But it's pretty silly. It has a 220cc.
Well,
engine.
Let's go take a look at it.
I
After
was
this
gonna say,
is
well,
done.
well, I feel like these things are, I'm sure, a blast to ride. They look dorky as hell. Can we agree on that, Colby?
What are you using for a seat, Paco?
I feel like
it
it's
has,
like-
it has like a,
Are
like
you using
it
a
has
seat
like
or a
go
trailer
kart.
hitch?
No, it has like a go kart seat. It has like a big like a lowrider bicycle front tire and go kart rear tires with
Yeah.
PVC plastic pipe.
Like I said, I'm sure they're an absolute blast to drive, which I'm going to find out when I injure myself here in a few minutes.
It has
But-
no brakes right now, so that should make it
I
for a
don't
lot
need
more
brakes,
fun.
dude. I ride fixed gear. I don't use brakes. I'm a cool guy. Because I'm a yeah. When
you
I say
just
when I
drop-
say it's a very dorky looking thing, this is coming from someone who's pretty fucking dorky. So it's
Yeah.
not like it's not like I'm a cool guy. But let's
Let's go down there, check it out, and
Let's go.
You wanna? All
right, guys.
Where can I find you, Corey?
Colby's at Hot Dogs.
Corey Osford, SU Center.
Hot Dogs or Legs. I'm at
Younganddumb.com.
I'm at younganddumb.com. I'm at 30 going on 60 gray hair men. Hotmail.com.
I think your house on fire, dude. I can smell something burning.
I can't smell anything because
Well, just look. Chofa Drift Van, 2F Performance.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Hey,
want to
Jeff,
send us,
hey, Jeff.
send us away?
Send us away, Jeff.
We usually sing our way out of the show.
Oh, you
Yeah.
wanna go down
So,
that road.
say
right
please
there.
show
Christmas
us your.
carols, like-
Yeah, there you go.
Like, are we gonna do like Rudolph?
What's your favorite song right now?
Uh,
No, not to put you on the spot.
Probably
this is
Creed
the hardest
Shreds.
question of the day.
What's your
Are you a
favorite?
Nickelback guy?
Are you a Nickelback fan?
Is anyone a Nickelback?
Are you a Nickel fan?
Nickel fan.
Are you a Nickel man? Are you a backer? What do they call those guys?
What kind of music
people
are you
with bad
into?
taste?
Are you?
Let's
You're,
go-
I would have put a
Let's go with a holiday carol.
No, can we all let the bodies hit the floor?
I don't know how.
The bodies hit the floor.
No. On the count of 3. You ready?
All right. 1,
1, 2, 3.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the.
I'm definitely not going to let that happen. Oh, boy.
Rest in peace, headphone users.
Yep.
Night.